Hi, my name is Selina, and I'm going to read to you my picture book biography of Joni Mitchell. It's called Joni, The Lyrical Life of Joni Mitchell. This is the title page. Joni Mitchell painted with words. Sitting at her piano or strumming the guitar, she turned the words into songs. The songs were like brushstrokes on a canvas, saying things that were not only happy or sad, but true. But before the songs, there was a restless girl named Roberta Joan Anderson, who danced in wide open spaces to the songs of seagulls and the shimmer of her own star. Young Joni drew pictures of animals, forest fires, and wildflowers. Her mother, Myrtle, took her out to the fields and taught her bird calls. There was a lone train, the quiet of nature, and a small town in Canada. But sometimes Joni felt at odds in the Anderson house, like an upside-down bird on a wire. It's not that her parents didn't love her, but they were cautious and fixed in their ways. It seemed to Joni that Myrtle was always cleaning, but one time she told her daughter, "I'll allow you to paint on the wall of your room." At piano lessons, Joni made up her own melodies. Rainbows tiptoed and jumped and skipped in her head. But when Joni was 10 years old, something terrible happened. She caught a contagious disease called polio and was taken away to a faraway hospital with strict rules. The girl who loved dancing and painting and music was ordered to lie perfectly still. Six weeks passed with only one visit from Joni's mother. It was on Christmas that Myrtle brought a small tree to the hospital to cheer her daughter up. Later that same night, the sounds of carols echoed through empty halls, reminding Joni of home. Oh, how she wished she could kick and scream. Instead, she shouted the words out loud, her dusky-throated voice cackling, wanting to be heard. "I will make something of myself," she promised the Christmas tree. And she did. It began in junior high. The Andersons moved to Saskatoon, where a teacher named Mr. Krantzman admired Joni's paintings. He encouraged her to look deep inside herself. He said, if you can paint with a brush, you can paint with words. Paintings turned to poems on the page. In high school, Joni was desperate for a guitar to entertain her friends with. "No," said her mom. So Joni saved up $36 to buy a ukulele. Later on, modeling at a local department store earned her enough money to buy her first guitar. But she wanted to do more than just play for her friends. When Joni finally left Saskatoon, it was to go to an art school in Calgary, where she found a world of coffee houses and poetry and a captivating music scene. Hearing about a folk festival in Toronto, Joni and her boyfriend left school to take a 3-day train trip across Canada. In the rhythm of the train's wheels, she heard a lonely, bluesy sound and wrote her first song. Months passed, and even though her boyfriend left for California, Joni stayed on in Toronto, writing music every day. In cafes around town, she sang songs written by other people. And when Joni met an American folk singer named Chuck Mitchell, she thought she had found a partner. He was older and full of fancy words and promises. Joni packed a guitar case full of dreams, moved to Detroit, and changed her name to Joni Mitchell. Everyone loved Joni's voice, but Joni didn't love being married. There was a thunderstorm of feelings, anger and tears, and performing her own songs for the very first time. Through it all, Joni kept writing her feelings down, and the stanzas turned to songs. Joni saw music everywhere. On a flight one time, she looked up from her book and noticed the clouds from above and from below. How different the clouds looked from both sides. What about looking at her own life that way? There was so much to learn about life and so much to learn about love, too. Next, Joni followed her music to New York. Her neighborhood, Chelsea, was abuzz with energy. There were 1,000 stories on a single block. The sounds of horns and people and pigeons drifted through the butterscotch curtains. Joni wrote her feelings of joy and wonder into a song called Chelsea Morning. Downtown in Greenwich Village, Joni's music heroes sang folk songs like the ones she was writing, spoken word stories sung out loud. When it was Joni's turn to sing, they couldn't believe their ears. Her songs were strong and honest and truly astonishing. Peace and love and freedom were in the California air. Joni moved into a groovy house with music and singing and far out new harmonies. She was writing song after song about everything around her. In the summer of '69, all of Joni's friends were going to Woodstock, a music festival in upstate New York. Joni wanted to go and perform, but she worried she wouldn't make it back in time to go on TV the next day. When she saw what she had missed, singing and guitars and campfires and sunshine that bloomed into rain showers, she painted her left out feelings into the song Woodstock. When Joni performed Woodstock, it brought back the intensity of missing the experience. She sang, "We've got to get ourselves back to the garden." Hearing it, her fans felt like they were part of something bigger than themselves. They felt like she was right there, sitting next to them, singing songs about sadness and beauty and hope. Hearing all of these natural feelings sung out loud helped people feel understood. But outside of the garden, Joni saw humans destroying nature with buildings and cars. She was so upset that she painted her feelings into a snappy song called Big Yellow Taxi. When her friend Neil Young wrote a song about wanting to stay young forever, she answered playfully with a tune of her own called The Circle Game. Joni was now a very famous singer. She traveled to Europe and camped out on an island in Greece. She fell in and out of love, and she cried all the time. She dreamed she was a plastic bag that people could see right through. She took her feelings of love and anger and jealousy and painted a string of songs into an album called Blue. By the time Joni was 35, she moved away from folk music, experimenting with new sounds, rock and pop and then jazz. She met a great musician named Charles Mingus, who shared her spirit of honesty. Joni put her voice and her words to his music and made an album called Mingus. There were dozens of different guitar tunings, a synthesizer, and electric new vibes. Maybe her fans didn't like it as much as her earlier music, but Joni didn't care. I sing my sorrow and I paint my joy, Joni once said. Her songs show us the way by telling us her truth. Truth gives us freedom, and freedom gives us the wings to fly.